Hey everyone, Mr. Johnston here with today's lesson on ordering rational numbers. So our essential question is how can I fluently order real numbers in different forms? So when I'm talking about different forms, I mean comparing fractions to decimals to square roots. Now the best part about this year is the thing that makes this the easiest is you have access to a calculator. So you're really not having to do any math on your own as long as you structure it correctly. So the first thing we need to address is when they ask you the question, they'll either be asking it from least to greatest or greatest to least. But they're going to use different ways of saying this. So one of the first ways is they will use one of these terms. So for going up or least to greatest, might use in ascending, going up, or increasing. So the other way, which would be, greatest to least, they're going to use terms like descending, going down, decreasing. The way I remember the difference between these is all of the words that start with D are going down. So down, decreasing, descending, those are all greatest to least. Ascending is the opposite. Think about ascending up a mountain. That means you're going up, you're increasing. Descending means you're coming down the other side, decreasing greatest to least. So there are going to be three steps that we need to take. The first is going to be convert to decimal. So we're going to take all of our different values and convert them to decimals. Now, if they're already in decimal form, we're good to go. The second step is we're going to line up our decimals by using 2 or 3 decimal places. And the last thing we're going to do is check the wording of the question. So that's where we're going to look for ascending, descending, anything that tells us the order that we need to put it in, because I can guarantee you on a multiple choice test, they're going to have both greatest to least and least to greatest, which means you can do all the work correct, but if you don't read the question carefully, you will get it wrong because you will do the wrong order. So we're going to start with an example, and we are going to have 3 1/10 pi and the square root of 10. So what I want to do first is I'm going to put all of these in decimal form, and I'm going to line them up with their decimals lined up to the side. So first I'm going to do 3 1/10. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that 0 so that way I can compare everything to 2 decimal places. And that makes it a lot easier to get the correct answer. So pi, as you guys remember from last year, is 3.14. If you ever forget that, you can just go to a calculator, type in pi and hit enter, and it will tell you 3.1415 and then all those numbers. But we're only going to 2 decimal places today. And last, when I go into my calculator and I plug in the square root of 10, it tells me that it is 3.16. So now I have all 3 of my values and I have them to 2 decimal places. Now we're going to say that this question is asking for them in descending order. So descending means going down, decreasing, greatest to least. So that means I want to get the largest value, the middle value, and then the least value. So I'm going to come over here, and my biggest value is 3 1/16, which was the square root of 10. So I'm going to write the square root of 10 first, and then I'll cross it off because I'm done with it. Next is 3 14/100, which is pi. So I'll write pi next, cross it off. And last we have 3 10/100, or 3 1/10. and I will write 3 1/10. So this is the correct answer, greatest to least in descending order. Now notice here when I did my answer, I wrote them in their original form, not just the decimal form. And that's because when you go to see your answers, all of your answer choices will be in the original form and not in the decimal form.